the incredible, the fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, come one and come all to a film you've never seen before. But remember, folks, no refunds.
Hello and welcome to No Refunds, the podcast where we watch bad movies so you don't have to. A Cold North production. I'm your host, Ben Reynolds, and this week we watched Antoine Fuqua's 2013 first entry in the Fallen series, Olympus Has Fallen. Joining me this week, we have the tenacious Tim Miller.
Why, hello there.
And Patrick the Law Morris.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Check out everything we have going on over at coldnorthpro.com, and if you like what you hear, leave us a rating and review wherever you found our podcast. And now, Olympus Has Fallen.
Most protected building on Earth has fallen.
I am the man in control of your White House.
This is one of the most wanted terrorists in the world.
Open the gates of hell.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
Today, we make our stand. Olympus Has Fallen. Rated R.
All right. So each week, we all take a crack at writing the Google plot synopsis. Then we read what Google has, and we decide who did it best, more or less. Well, Pat and Tim do. So this week, we have these synopses. Ex-Secret Service agent Mike Banning finds himself in a sticky situation in the wake of a terrorist attack on the White House. By working with national security, his mission is now to rescue the president from his kidnappers, a North Korean terrorist cell led by a man known as Kang. He must act fast if he is to save the country from nuclear annihilation and redeem himself from his past mistakes. Next, we've got, after Mike Banning is reassigned from the president's Secret Service detail following a tragic accident, there is a significant attack on the White House. After the president's bunker is taken from within, it is up to Banning to stop the terrorists who have taken control of the White House and save the president and his family. Next, we have, the unthinkable happens when heavily armed and highly trained terrorists launch a bold daytime attack on the White House. The building is overrun and President Benjamin Asher and his staff are taken hostage. Luckily for Asher, former presidential security officer Mike Banning is on the scene. With time running out, it's up to Banning to locate Asher's son before the extremists do and rescue the president before his captors unleash their ultimate plan. And finally, after a tragic disaster resulting in the death of the First Lady, Mike Banning is taken off the president's detail. But when foreign enemies strike at the heart of our country and take the president hostage, Banning rushes to the White House and becomes the sole man on the inside. Joining in as Banning works against the clock to save the president and prevent the detonation of all the country's nukes in their silos, obliterating the United States as we know it. All right. What do you guys think?
Tim?
I was going to say you can go first this time.
I think Google is 2.
I want to say Google was 3, personally. I think 4 was you, Patrick. I think 2 was Ben, and I know I was number 1. So,
okay,
bam.
I
Ding,
felt
ding, 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 ding.
I felt confident that 1 was Tim because of sticky situation.
Oh yeah.
And then I was back and forth between Ben and Google, and then 4 I knew was me.
Tim got them all right on his first guess. Pat thought I was good.
Well, I was thinking 3 was Google because I didn't think Ben would mention the sun. But I should have just stuck with that thought.
I threw you off partially earlier by mentioning Benjamin Asher as the name of the president.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
dick.
So yeah, interesting plot. I think we did a pretty good job of summing up what happens. Pat really brought it home with Pat got concise with talking about the detonation of all the country's nukes in their silos.
Yeah, it's all about to be over.
Pat basically exposed the entire movie's plot in his Google Plus.
Well, maybe that was my strategy to trick you guys into thinking I was Google.
But Google wouldn't be that concise.
Yeah, Google's always very vague.
Oh, I guess that's true. I just thought maybe Google gives shit away all the time.
I wish they gave away free shit. Be great.
Yeah, everything costs something with Google, and it always costs your information.
And your Google Wallet.
Yes.
Yep.
But, yeah, no, I think that we did pretty well, and I think Google did, like, honestly, all of us did pretty well on this one.
I'm as I'm like looking at this and thinking about it, I'm like, oh, it actually makes sense that Google doesn't even mention the tragic accident at the beginning, and Tim didn't mention it really either. No, Tim didn't mention it at all either.
Nobody.
And it's really no. You and I both mentioned it. You were like after a tragic disaster resulting. I also said after Mike Banning is reassigned from the President's Secret Service detail following a tragic accident. So if you are really writing a good synopsis, you don't need to include that. It's just a waste of a sentence, basically.
I mean, it is a kind of a big plot point, but not one that they really need to.
If you're trying to write a concise synopsis and you're trying to sell the movie. You don't need that.
Yeah.
And like saying something like former Secret Service officer, and he was also like a Green Beret or some shit like that.
I think he was a Ranger. I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. He was a Ranger. Like you could say like ex-Army Ranger or something like that.
Yeah, just identify him real quick.
Yep.
Mike Banning. Yeah, and that's because that's after they take their whole first sentence is just about basically what the plot is, which is the unthinkable happens when heavily armed and highly trained terrorists launch a bold daytime attack on the White House.
They could have just stopped there.
Yeah, honestly, that tells you what the movie is about. But then they give you some more
B- is all around.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, let's move on to the questions. So, for each film we go through, we'll revisit these 7 questions to lead our discussion. The first question is, how bad was it?
Not that bad.
I'm going to say not bad at all. Like, this was a fucking cool movie.
So, I've been thinking about this, like, more lately, and, like, was it, like, it's not bad, but it's not good in, like, the way, like, that, like, a good movie, like, a really good movie is good, like...
No, but it's not... I don't know. It's like
it's entertaining is really what it is. Like, and I mean, it was one of the things that I honestly thought made it like hard for me to watch was it was incredibly violent.
This harkens back to like an 80s action movie for me. And as I was watching it, I was thinking, is Gerard the last like action star like that, like the Stallone
action,
and
like 80s action was like the movie we watched last week in like Roadhouse where he rips the guy's throat out and you're like, oh, that's not fucking believable at all.
So unnecessarily violent.
This movie was just like absurdly violent and everything was like realistic and I was just like, oh my God. Like, during a lot of this I was just like, why is this so violent?
This is just genuinely making me uncomfortable.
Yeah, like this movie was so violent. I don't know. That was one thing that I've noted multiple times. I was like, why is this so violent?
Oh, the knife in the head. That was so cool.
Yeah. I don't know.
The violence didn't bother me. I looked at this movie like it was an 80s action movie, and I enjoyed it from that perspective. Like, I think that I wouldn't say it was like, it's not like fucking as good as Die Hard, but it's also.
But it was a ripoff of Die Hard.
Yes, it's a ripoff of something good can still be something good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at times I did find it to be like, overall I would say it was entertaining, but very derivative to the point where it literally even stopped feeling derivative and just felt like it was literally just ripping it off.
Yeah. I mean, I like you said, it was just fun. Like, I just shut my brain down and enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's I guess that's sort of one that, like, and as we've been doing this podcast, I've found it harder to, like, genuinely, like, completely shut that part of my brain off.
We're just pushing you. We're pushing it too hard.
No, not it's. I just like, because now I'm like, oh wow, like when I watch something that's actually good, I'm like, oh yeah, this is actually really good, and or like, and that's what, like, John Wick is incredibly violent, but John Wick is
good.
more than just entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, yes, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I don't need every movie to be John Wick or to be The Matrix or, like, Schindler's List. There are some movies.
If everything was the Matrix, that would be a disaster because they couldn't make more than one of those that was good.
I mean, they couldn't even. Yeah, exactly. And so I don't need everything to be that level of excellence of, like, The Matrix 1 or John Wick or what's another Keanu movie? Speed.
Not Speed. That's a bad movie.
Speed? No, Speed is a good movie. Speed. You're thinking of Speed 2. Cruise Control.
I'm thinking of Speed. The way that bus jumps over that gap. Yeah,
so badass. No, Speed is awesome. But I don't know. I don't need every movie to be like that awesome. There are some movies that I can just, or to be like that level of like elevating to that level. There are some movies that I can just have be just like, yeah, this is just simple fun.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you that movies can be that, but I don't know. I guess I found it to be less than that. Like, I mean, the fifth note that I took is literally, Mike kind of sucks.
Mike's kind of a dick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Like, this movie has a lot of plot holes. Like, we got to admit that.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that doesn't help its case.
All right. Well, so let's just to move us along in our questions. I'm just going to say we are obviously into our second question, which is what made it bad.
So I'm going to start off the whole front portion of it, like the entire first section where the wife dies, the car accident, him getting demoted from the Secret Service.
Yeah, why did he didn't?
It's not his fault that someone can't drive.
Yeah, and also not his fault that a seatbelt got jammed. Like, I don't know. They were acting like it was 100% his oh, this is on you, Mike. But it's like,
well, no. But then the black lady.
Angela Bassett.
Damn,
she's cool.
She was just like, he just can't stand to see you because of what happened.
Yeah, they did mention that, and I just thought, wow, way to be a dick, Mr. President.
Yeah, I thought that was a terrible hand wave, honestly.
Yeah. There's one of the plot holes Tim was talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's well, I mean, yeah. There's so many plot holes. There are a lot of like definite plot holes. Well, okay, so we were just talking about Lincoln on the Mount Rushmore. How about the violence of when he bashes someone's head in with Lincoln's bust?
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess maybe because of the lens through which I was viewing this movie, I just really didn't care about that stuff. Like, that didn't bother me at all, because I was just like, to me, it was just like, I was watching it entirely as just like, this is in the same way that I would watch, Die Hard or Speed or a Steven Seagal movie. Like, I'm just here to enjoy something mindlessly. And so I think that because of the lens through which I was viewing this movie, that sort of stuff didn't bother me.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I felt like it seemed like it was propaganda.
Definitely.
And it was a ripoff of Die Hard with more violence and higher stakes. And then there was a lot of dumb plot holes. Like the fact that Mike didn't know the fucker retired. The evil Secret Service agent guy.
Oh, yeah.
How did Mike not?
Dumb.
The guy literally told him that it was his last night, the night that Mike fucked up and got fired.
Yeah.
And Mike doesn't realize that the guy's retired.
Yeah.
Is Mike supposed to be like super fucking smart and like the best Secret Service agent, but he doesn't. He's not like, weird, you're here.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Hold up.
You want to share a cigarette for a little while?
Yeah, like that's a huge plot hole.
Yeah, and also, Ben, going back to what you were saying about propaganda, like, this movie is very obviously propaganda, but that sort of propaganda was definitely like widespread in like throughout the late 2000s and into the early
2000s. This was 2013.
Well, I know, and that's what I'm saying is like this movie was a little bit late on the ball, like late to the party on that one. Just because we were kind of coming out of that by the time this movie came out, and then it came out and it was so heavy handed with that. But that being said, Rick Yoon did kind of turn that fear into an entire career. So good on him.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the next question, which is which character was the worst? I'm just going to go ahead and say it, that it was Asher's son.
Yep, the kid.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah. Stupid kid can't even play Lair. That's an easy game. God.
Yeah, that kid sucked.
Also, why is that kid playing fucking PlayStation 3? It's 2013. God.
Well, in his defense, weren't we still playing GTA on PlayStation 3 in 2013?
Okay, Ben, don't defend the kid. We're all calling him the worst.
I'm sorry. Fucking Connor. That's what his name was.
I'm trying to think of anyone else that could possibly be... Oh, you know what? What about the army guy that's like constantly doubting Mike?
Oh, I don't think he was big enough to be the worst. I feel like Connor was just clearly the worst.
Well, so after remembering that, and I'm pulling up his name now, after remembering that, I'm going to have to go with that guy.
Make your case.
He was, okay, so he was constantly doubting Mike. Even when Mike would be like, yes, it's this, and he'd be like, no, and then Mike would be right. That happened like 10 times, and the guy would still like...
That did happen.
And the guy was still like, no way, who is this guy? And it's like, first of all, how the fuck do you not know who Mike Banning is?
He was kind of more prominent than Connor, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I did literally make the note of, I guess they should have believed Mike more.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he was a real
All right, you
douchebag.
convinced me. You convinced me on that one. Tim, are you in agreement too that the military dude was the worst?
I'm not ready to break on it. I still think the kid was shit. I'm sorry, but like
Wow.
Connor was definitely pretty shit.
Connor
like
was
when-
bad.
he knows the layout of the house. Like they go through all of that in the beginning portion. Like he knows where all the cameras are, all that stuff. And yes, he's able to avoid the bad guys for a while. But like you'd think if he knew all that, he'd know how to get out of the house safely without getting seen, and wouldn't like have even been an issue for Mike to have to go save. Like
in
there's a lot
Connor's
of that.
defense, he's a child. He's hiding. People
don't
have
care.
taken his father hostage. They have guns. They're in the White House.
But he doesn't know that they have taken his father hostage.
Okay, but someone's roaming around your house with a gun, much less the fucking White House with a gun.
My
you
house isn't very big.
Yeah, so that would be scary. And and you found a hiding place. Are you really gonna like risk leaving?
Yes,
Maybe.
Tim's just like, yes, I would.
absolutely. If it meant getting the fuck out, yes.
I mean, Connor did suck, but the other guy didn't believe Mike, and Mike ended up finding Connor
Yeah,
and saved the day.
Mike, that was awesome for Mike. Yeah.
Well, was Mike a pedophile, therefore making him the worst?
What?
Wait a minute.
Hold up. No, that's definitely not the case.
No, not going out into left field. Thank you.
We're gonna reel you back in here, Ben.
Get out of the weeds.
All right, fair enough. So then, which character was the best / most compelling? Clearly not Mike, based on these most recent allegations against him.
What? They're just allegations, and they're unfounded. Definitely Margaret Asher, because she's hot.
I don't know. What about what's her name? What's her name? The lady who was Mike's like handler.
What, like the Secretary of State woman?
Angela Bassett. Yeah, no, definitely. She was badass.
Yeah, because she was the one who convinced everybody to listen to Mike and like did all of that. Like I think Angela Bassett might have it held down.
Oh, definitely. Like I was going with the First Lady just because she's hot, but like totally, Angela Bassett was awesome in this movie. Angela Bassett, honestly, awesome in pretty much every movie.
So I'm going to step on a little half-assed internet research, but apparently the character was originally written to be a man, and then Antoine Fuqua convinced Angela Bassett to
Oh, really?
to audition, and then rewrote the character to be a woman.
Oh, that's really cool because she is so cool in pretty much everything she does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was in Black Panther. She was in this movie. She was in what other movies has she been in? She was in Curious George 3. Like, she's cool in everything she does.
Yeah, no, she's good. She's real good. Tim, what do you think on this one?
I'll certainly agree with that. I'm trying to find. There was another character I wanted to bring up, but I can't remember her name.
Shit. She was in Critters 4.
Critters?
Oh no!
I've not seen Critters.
Well,
Not familiar with that.
probably haven't seen Critters 4. No. Also, the what's her name? The Secretary of State. She was pretty cool, except it was really weird when she started saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, she was getting
Beat up.
beat out of her.
Yeah, I was like, this is very awkward.
Yeah, that's more of the shit that I didn't really like, where it was just like the overly violent
Well, and it was that
parts.
I don't know. She was cool, but like just her saying the Pledge of Allegiance was just so like on the nose that it was just like this is weird. Please don't do this again.
Yeah.
So the character I was looking up was actually in Geostorm, and it's just making me think we watch way too many Gerard Butler films.
He's in a lot of bad movies. He's in a lot of bad movies.
He's the last action hero.
No, man, that's good.
All right, so was it so bad it was good?
Most definitely. Or was it just good?
Or was it just bad?
No.
I think it was just bad. I'm with Tim on it. Just was bad. Like
I had a fun time watching it, but I don't feel like it cracks into the top 15 of what we've watched. I really don't.
No, definitely not. Like it's far worse than Roadhouse. Roadhouse was far more entertaining than this.
Agreed.
Let's see. Top 15. 15 was shit. Godzilla, Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil, Spider-Man 3, Fast and Furious 6, Bad Santa. This is definitely top 15 of the movies we've watched.
Keep going.
Okay, so the top 15 of these are the highest rated, the movies we've enjoyed the most. Godzilla, starting from 15 and up. Godzilla, Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil, Spider-Man 3, Fast and Furious 6, Bad Santa 2, Bangkok Dangerous, Tomb Raider, John Carter, Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, Transformers Last Night, Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Death Race, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, Rampage, Starship Troopers. I would say it definitely falls in that area of like Bangkok Dangerous, Tomb Raider, John Carter.
I mean, I feel like it's below the top 16 because Roadhouse finds its way into that top 15.
Oh, Roadhouse is going to find its way in the top 5, baby.
Yeah, right? I mean, this movie is not very good, in my opinion.
I liked it a bit more than Godzilla, but still, a lot of the other movies on that list I'd rather watch again instead of this.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is probably better than Godzilla.
It's better than Godzilla. It's better than Mortal Kombat.
Okay, yeah.
It's way better than Resident Evil. It's better than Bad Santa 2.
Bad Santa 2, like...
Wasn't that like number 20 on our list?
No, it was 15.
With Bad Santa 2. And Pat, wait, are you going off your personal list, or are you going off of the aggregated list that Tim made?
I think I'm actually going off of your list. So here, I'll pull up the aggregated list.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Oh shit, I uninstalled Instagram because I didn't want to get spied on.
Oh no.
Well, it's not that, honestly.
Nah, not really.
But yeah. But no, I would say it's definitely top 15.
But I don't think it was like I wouldn't say it was so bad it was good. I would say it was just fairly bad.
See, for me, the movie was
the worst.
Not bad, not good, but not so bad that it could be good.
I enjoyed it. I definitely want to watch London Has Fallen, and then Angel Has Fallen is actually being reviewed as the best of the three.
I mean, it's made me think that those can definitely be watched on this podcast eventually.
There you go. I'm happy to watch those movies. In fact, I enjoyed it so much that I immediately tried to find a place to watch London Has Fallen.
So, would it have been better as a Netflix/HBO series? Fuck no.
1000% no.
Yeah, agreed. Nope.
This is a weird, like, this movie has a strange, like, they got a lot of big names for this movie. Like Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman,
Gerard Butler, Angela Bassett. Those are
This was the end of of Gerard Butler, though.
No, wait, he does 2 more movies as Mike Banning.
Well, yeah, he does, but that's, like, I mean, he's lucky. I think that those are like his biggest paychecks that he's getting nowadays. I don't think he's getting other paychecks besides playing Mike Banning.
I mean, let's see. I'm looking at his IMDb.
He's lucky that he found himself a franchise,
and he made it. So he's still doing some movies. Like he's doing the dragon movies.
What was the one that we did where he didn't fucking know his lines?
Geostorm.
That was Geostorm.
Yeah, Geostorm. A friend of mine watched Geostorm, and he told me, and he was like, yo, that movie is pretty good, dude. And I was like, what are you talking about? He didn't even know his lines. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was like half drunk the entire time he was filming that movie.
So finally, would it have been better with John Cena?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You switch out John Cena for Gerard Butler, and then honestly, the ultra violence is actually almost more comedic.
Super cool.
Yep.
And probably feels less awkward.
Okay.
And like it's probably just a better movie, honestly. Like just recast Gerard Butler with John Cena, and it's probably a better movie. It's almost like it's the Marine, but then you put you instead of actually making it the Marine, you take what people have found with John Cena, which is that he's actually pretty funny, and you kind of own that a little bit, and maybe even
amp that up.
Just really make it like an 80s action movie, and make him say funny little things like when he kills somebody with Lincoln's bust, like
make him say those one-liners.
I just emancipated there's your emancipation proclamation or something like that. You know?
Oh man, I want to see that movie. But also
1,000% better than this movie was.
swap John Cena in for Aaron Eckhart. I'm into that.
No, Aaron Eckhart's too in his feelings.
Swap John Cena in for Morgan Freeman. Like, honestly, legitimately, have John Cena take over pretty much any adult role.
I see. Sorry. I was thinking.
See, now I feel like you're just casting a Medea film with just John Cena. I would love as everybody.
That movie. That would be a great movie.
But President John Cena is never getting taken in a bunker. Like, he's going to
That's true.
That's just unbelievable.
Too much of
President John Cena
badass.
Wouldn't need Secret Service.
He's not locked in there with them. They're locked in there with him.
Exactly. I don't think that John Cena would have been practical as any of the politicians.
No. Can you imagine them having John Cena as the president? Oh, you think I've never been in hell in a cell before, bro?
But you make John Cena any of the Secret Service agents, maybe one of the terrorists. But
make John Cena Forbes.
Like, that's why. Yeah,
that would have been cool.
Evil Secret Service agent John Cena could have done that, absolutely,
and expand on that, because I felt like they didn't like. I felt like there was a
the president's son.
That would be so great.
Side of the walls,
just
it's
wearing.
It's like in The Goods where what's his name is playing the like retarded son, and then Catherine Hahn ends up having sex with him, and he's like a 10-year-old, but he's like in a grown man's body.
I've watched that movie multiple times, and honestly, it's good, but like I can never remember it.
I love that movie.
The Goods, Live Hard, Sell Hard.
Yeah,
Jeremy Piven, what an actor.
But it's
David Koechner?
Rob Riggle's character.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's like a 10-year-old, and Catherine Hahn ends up having sex with him.
Yeah,
because
that's a funny movie.
Ages super fast so that he looks like he's 40.
Oh, God, that's a funny movie. But no, I feel like there was like put John Cena in the role of Forbes, make him the evil Secret Service agent, and then have that fight between Gerard and Cena. And I feel like there was a lot that was probably left on the cutting room floor in that subplot, as far as like what they were like, because I feel like they probably should have spent more time on screen like, together.
Oh, it's not very believable that this really good Secret Service agent would just forget that this guy retired the day that he got fired.
Right, exactly. And so I don't know. I feel like there was a lot left on the cutting room floor with those two, and that subplot as far as like them, roaming around, like killing some terrorists together, while Forbes kind of lulls Banning into that like sense of security, and then tries to like get the drop on him. I feel like they could have expanded on that, and that would have been a lot more fun. That would have been a much more fun subplot. And having John Cena in there would have made it so much better.
It's true. All right, well, let's move on from our questions to some burning questions. The first one I have is, how is North Korea more upset about the interview than they were about this movie?
Seriously, like, what the fuck?
That's a good point. Geez, I didn't even think about that.
God.
I mean, I guess arguably the interview was kind of designed to make Kim Jong-un look like a stupid man-child.
It was very personal.
Yeah. Whereas this, I mean, and honestly, in some ways, this is almost like propaganda for North Korea, because it's like, yeah, North Korean terrorists could take over the White House.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes, you're kind of answering your own unanswerable. But
I know. I just thought that would be a good question to throw in here, and I kind of answered it for myself before, actually. So I don't. But and that's why it's not unanswerable. It's just a burning question.
That's right. But you know, the interview is definitely worth watching. And it's just so personal for Kim Jong-un, as far as like he and other politicians, not going to point any fingers at the president of the United States or anything. They take things so incredibly personally, and they have to address every single slight against them. They can't let anything go.
Yep.
And when it's just like, you know, poking fun at the country as a whole, it's like, oh, whatever. But when it's like me personally, they're not willing to let that go.
Me personally, yeah, no, I know what you mean. So my next burning. Oh, all right, Tim.
How did they get an AC-130 that far into U.S. territory without anybody noticing?
I was 100% thinking the same thing.
Well, and also after what they had confirmed that it was an enemy, why did they continue calling it a bogey?
Well, so something that I was thinking was like, how did that plane fly so low over DC, and they're giving it warnings? It's like, if you're that low over DC, you're getting shot down, like right away. There's no warning. You're just not.
How many
supposed
Americans
to be there.
died when it crashed in the National Mall?
Yeah,
quite a few, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it looked like a lot.
But like, if you're flying that low over DC, it's assumed you're attacking the country, and so
they would have gotten to you well before you even got to DC.
Exactly.
At this point.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like,
I don't know, man. And there was a plane that flew into the Pentagon, if you guys would remember with me.
That's true.
Yeah, that's.
But that was also a passenger airliner that had, like, we had confirmed, like air traffic control had confirmed. We were totally under the impression that we knew who was flying that at the time, and and so like it was sort of like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? And then like, you know, versus like, hey, we have no idea who you are. We have no idea where you came from, and you're flying like 500 feet over Washington, headed towards the National Mall.
Yeah. All right, so why doesn't the Secret Service change the safe codes when agents leave?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. Because they're worried that Mike Banning might need them.
Yeah, bullshit.
They're concerned. They want to make sure Mikey Boy has access to a gun in the White House.
Fair enough. Yeah, that one was a big plot hole where I was like, wait.
Also,
I don't buy that. Not
really like a burning question, but just like, Jesus Christ, plot armor. Like, in the scene where Mike and Connor are in the wall and they're like running, we got 4 guys with like assault rifles just emptying their clips into this wall. Mike and Connor are running away, and Mike is just no-looking, shooting behind him. Mike hits at least one, maybe two of them, and they can't hit Mike or Connor at all. Like,
well,
it's
I also
Stormtrooper
have
syndrome.
I have these Secret Service agents in quotations seem incredibly incompetent. And then the next note is like stormtroopers.
Yeah, exactly.
And then my next note was the White House should be a castle
with a moat.
Yeah, like, and this moat should have snakes and crocodiles in it.
Ben, I think that Trump's security should hire you.
Obviously. All right. So my next question is this the worst dialogue in the movie? Mike says, "Why'd you do it, man?" And the evil guy says, "I lost my way."
Oh yeah, that he had like no motivation.
Yeah.
What, the Secret Service dude, the evil guy?
Forbes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Literally, like, that was it. They broke his motivation down to, "I lost my way."
I mean, I think that comes back to what Patrick was saying about leaving a lot on the cutting room floor. Like, you don't see a lot of his motivations. He's just there as an ex-Secret Service agent who knew the layout of the White House. That was his only
But he was
purpose.
given a really, and the only experience we had with him was Mike being really nice to him and giving him the night off. And him being like, "Sweet, my last night on the job, I'll kick up, get out of this monkey suit, and put my feet up and have some hot cocoa by the fire."
Yeah, I guess that's right.
That's like all we saw of him before it's just like, oh yeah, he's evil.
But I think that it's probably, I don't know. There's probably more development in that they did, and they just didn't, like, we didn't see it. But I think that it is like a fairly weak point for them to just like, this is his motivation, is he just lost his way. Because ultimately, even if there was stuff left on the cutting room floor, we have to look at the movie as a completed product. And they did leave that stuff on the cutting room floor. And so as far as we know, as the audience, what was presented to us was his motivation is, I just lost my way, which is interesting because they actually did a fairly good job of like concealing Kang's plan all the way up until the end of the movie.
Yeah, well, but then there was the stupid, brings us to my next burning question, which is, why was there a stupid fake helicopter twist?
Yeah, that was, I think Kang wanted them to think he was dead, but then it was like, what was his plan moving forward from there? Like,
that was just not, that was like, that whole part, I was just like, what was the point of this? It didn't matter.
Right.
But, like, ultimately, this was just a stupid plot twist that was confusing, and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And then the last note that I made was, if the president hadn't fired Mike, it all could have been avoided.
Mike would have been like, Nope.
If then we wouldn't have a movie. So
then we wouldn't have a movie to make a podcast about.
But maybe we didn't need this movie. That's what I'm trying to say, Tim. That's what I'm trying to say, man.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you.
All right, so my last burning question was, did you guys think the vice president looked startlingly like Mike Pence?
Yes, absolutely. I was surprised that it wasn't Donald Trump as the president. Actually, thinking about it now, Donald Trump probably thinks he bears a striking resemblance to Aaron Eckhart.
Should ask him next time you see him.
Yeah, I'll be like, Mr. President, do you think you look like Aaron Eckhart? He'll be like, actually, I think that I'm significantly handsomer than Aaron Eckhart.
But the vice president really did kind of look like
he
Mike
did,
Pence,
like strangely so.
Yeah. All right, so on to forgettable bullshit we found on Wikipedia and sometimes IMDb. So box office, the budget was $70 million. Domestic opening weekend was $30.3 million. So that's solid.
Not bad.
The domestic gross was $98.9 million. So they covered their shooting budget. And worldwide, they did $170.2 million. So they made
Profitable.
$100 million over the shooting budget. And that's why we saw.
That's why we saw two more of these movies.
Exactly. So the film was shot in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Shreveport,
yeah.
Huh.
But because Olympus has fallen was filmed so far away from its actual setting of Washington, D.C., the entire production relied heavily upon visual effects, particularly computer-generated imagery. For example, computers were used to create nearly all of the opening sequence in which the First Lady is killed in a car accident, with a chroma key green screen technology used to composite the actors into the computer-generated snowy scenery. For scenes where actors walked in or out of the White House, a first-floor facade and entrance were built. Computers added the second floor roof and downtown DC cityscape. Action scenes with the White House in the background were filmed in open fields, and the White House and DC were added in post-production.
Interesting. Real quick, just want to jump in here. Just if he's listening, Kevin Connolly, just make note. This is how you film a movie that, you can't film in the place you want to, but this is how you disguise a place to make it look like a different place, because Ohio does not look like New York City.
No, it doesn't.
What movie are you referencing? I'm very concerned.
Gotti.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember how bad New York looked in Gotti? It's because it was Ohio.
I'm trying to forget everything I can about that movie. Thank you.
So Richard Roper compared Olympus Has Fallen with the Die Hard series for sharing the same style and momentum, calling it as just too much of a pale Die Hard ripoff. He gave the film a C.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It was kind of a ripoff.
I mean, I'll agree with a ripoff for sure, but still fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In 2012, Millennium Films competed against Sony Pictures, which was producing White House Down, also about a takeover of the White House, and to complete casting before and to begin filming. This was one of those situations where you got two films about the exact same thing, like Volcano and Dante's Peak and Armageddon and Deep Impact. And yeah.
Didn't Olympus The Core have one of those too?
It might have.
Yeah.
It might have. I can't remember.
I don't.
But yeah.
The Core that well anyway. So.
I don't think I ever even saw The Core.
I don't remember it being that good.
I have not seen White House Down, but that was with Channing Tatum and
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx, yeah. Maybe we'll have to watch that if it pops up on streaming sometime soon.
Yeah. Compare and contrast.
Yeah, exactly. One trailer used in television ads included the emergency alert system tones, and they are used to alert television viewers about real-life emergencies. Using them outside of emergency broadcasts or tests violates federal law. And in 2014, the FCC fined ESPN, Viacom, and NBC Universal $1.93 million for broadcasting emergency alert system tones in non-emergency broadcasts while broadcasting one of the trailers for this film.
Yikes.
That's hilarious and amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's like, how does someone make that oversight? Like, you know what would be really cool?
Are you?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I guarantee. Like, well, it's the dumbass who approved that trailer is the person who needs to be. It's like the person who is like, yep, that trailer's okay, is the one who, because like the person who creates the trailer, that's not their job,
right? The person who approves
the FCC, yeah. It's absolutely the person who approves the trailer's job to know what is.
But
the
like,
FCC
who looks at that and is like, "Oh yeah, that's good." Like, what?
Well, I'm sure that they were like, "Oh, that seems really cool, actually," but then they didn't think about
The legal
sure
ramifications.
yeah, exactly. I wonder if you can find that trailer on YouTube now.
I'm sure you can.
If I can find that trailer, I'm going to put it at the beginning where after I say Olympus Has Fallen.
All right.
If you're listening to this podcast, hopefully you've already heard.
Hopefully you heard it because Ben found it.
If not, then well, we suck.
Exactly. All right. Well, since we don't only watch bad movies and TV, let's talk about some of the stuff that we have genuinely enjoyed watching lately. Tim, have you been watching anything lately?
Oh God, not really. I mean, I kind of started working my way back through the MCU. Like, I watched Iron Man and Iron Man 2 earlier this week.
Iron Man, what a movie.
Yeah, first one's fantastic. Second one, pretty meh, but not bad.
I honestly like all of them.
I like the second one. So I didn't like the second one when it came out, but like looking back on it now, it's like, no, the second one's better than some of the later MCU movies. Like there were some, I don't know. The second one's not as bad as I remembered it.
It's better than Dark World.
Yeah, definitely better than Dark World.
What's up with them? Like not put like so. This is just completely off topic, but they announced like the first like 400 movies that are going to be on Disney Plus, and they're going to have Dark World, but they're not going to have the original Thor.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, doesn't that seem really weird?
That is.
I think
strange.
they'd have the entirety of the MCU on it.
That's kind of what I was like. Why? I know eventually they're supposed to have the entirety of the MCU, but apparently there's some issues with some of them, like still being contracted to other services or something like that.
And
so that they're. But yeah, that I was like, well, that's weird. But so that we're gonna be able to watch Dark World on Disney Plus, but we won't be able to watch the original Thor. Weird.
Honestly, though, I thought original Thor and Dark World were pretty much on par. I didn't like either of them.
Yeah, the first good Thor movie was honestly Ragnarok, but
definitely.
We're getting in the weeds again.
Yeah. Sorry.
Pat, what have you been watching?
So, Jesus, that's a tough question for me. I watched Toy Story 4.
Ooh, I haven't seen that yet.
How was it?
I mean, I thought it was fine. Like, it was good. But also, like, I watched Toy Story I think Toy Story 3 is good. I don't think Toy Story 3 is fantastic. I think that 3 and 4 are, like, without a doubt, a step down from 1 and 2. Like, Toy Story 1 and 2, I think, are fantastic movies. And 3 and 4 are like, yeah, no, these are good.
But they're better than a lot of other Pixar.
They're better than any Cars film.
Right. Well, I mean, they're not as good as Cars 3.
Cars is terrible all around. Don't even make me go there.
No, but
they're not as good as like Incredibles 2, but
so I'm not. So when I say it was good, that's like speaking relative to the rest of the series, because I think that Toy Story is probably the best. Toy Story 2.
You got a friend in me.
I think I know that I like Toy Story more, or Toy Story 2 the most. And
you've got a friend in me.
I heard you.
You've got a friend in me.
But I think that it's probably the best Pixar movie. So
I mean, it's definitely
Monsters Inc.
Monsters Inc.'s good.
WALL-E was really good. I liked that one a lot personally. So,
but no, I mean, it was good. I would say definitely watch it.
Nice. Fair enough. Well, me personally, I have been watching The Righteous Gemstones on HBO. And if you guys have not started watching that show, you should, because it's fucking awesome. Another classic from Danny McBride and Jodie.
Oh.
Those guys. But this one's about like a televangelist family.
Oh,
and,
God.
Adam Devine is in it as well as John Goodman. And it's just hilarious. Walton Goggins is also in it. There's a hilarious character who was formerly a Satanist, and his name is Keith. And I cannot recommend this show enough, honestly. So yeah, go do yourself a favor, and if you've got a way to watch HBO, start watching that show because it's really funny.
I love Walton Goggins. I think he was the standout in Vice Principals.
Oh, I mean, what the woman who is that Danny McBride is banging on the side in Vice Principals. She is also in
whatever it's called,
the Righteous Gemstones, and she's really good.
Nice.
Judy Lee Gemstone.
Nice.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend that show. But that wraps up this week's discussion of Olympus Has Fallen. Join us next week when we'll be discussing Christopher Landon's 2017 film Happy Death Day.
Oh, okay.
Don't forget to check out our incredible website, coldnorthpro.com, where you can see everything we do in one place, specifically like our weekly gaming podcast, Hard Reset. See you next time, and don't forget, no refunds.
You can keep my money for this one.
I mean, I'm broke, so I kind of want it back, but